Hi, everyone. These are reading sprints for Once Upon a Readathon, and I have not hosted sprints since December, so I'm a little bit rusty. And I don't know how long we'll go for, as long as I feel like it, I guess. And you obviously all know Hannah already since she created this. But if you are in the comments or you're watching the playback, let us know what you're currently reading. So we'll let Hannah tell us what she is reading, and I'm sure it's like 17 books, but
it's always. So I think on the first sprint I'm going to try to finish up. I have like 45 minutes left, so I should be able to if we do a 45-minute sprint. But I want to try to finish.
Yeah, I'll do 45. Oh, I think Hannah is frozen. Oh, there we go.
Sorry, obviously not very Once Upon a Readathon centered, but it's okay. I'm really enjoying it. So, and then I'm going to start reading the Dragon Queens, and that's what I've been reading. I've got my kids with me, guys. Sorry.
This is the weekend as a parent.
Yeah, this is the Dragon Queens, and it's a sapphic fantasy romance that's very fairy tale-esque, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm hoping it gets steamy, but I'm only like, I think I'm 50 pages in, so.
I'm adding that to my TBR.
Yeah, you should. I'm enjoying it. I think it's fun, and
actually the cover is really cool.
Yeah. I want more sapphic fantasy romance.
And like you said, it's classic, so I like that they've made like classic themes but made it sapphic. And this dragon is cool. Dragons, and everybody's all about dragons now. I am reading one that you're supposed to be reading.
What are you reading?
This is what you're supposed to be reading at some point, The Stardust Thief. This is like the Fairy Loot edition. Isn't this pretty?
That's gorgeous.
And it's just purple. Yeah. And I love, it's so pretty. So I'm 100 pages in, and I thought that this would be a more difficult to read. It's so accessible. Like, it is such an easy read for me.
Really?
So like if you're looking to get into desert fantasy and stuff, or a gin book, this is a good one, I think. It's fun. I'm buddy reading this with Bex from Bex Reads, and I think she's liking it too. So hello.
I think the next gin book I'm going to read is either that or this Kingdom.
Yeah, that's one. I think I'm going to buddy read that with Maria at some point, so maybe you can join us. Then we have No Rest for the Wicked by Lauren Smith. Hope you're enjoying that. What is that about? I just finished Ship of Teeth and Bone. Seems to be a popular one, and it's so outside of my comfort zone, but I'm tempted to try it just because the hype of it, and I love the cover. What mermaid book to read next? Into the Drowning Deep is the one I would go with. What other options do you have? Hi, Daphne. See, what a good co-host reading a gin book. Twisted Ginny. How are you liking that one? Hello, Shelby. Hi, Kate. Look at the dog, so cute. Yeah, so
I want to know how Twisted Ginny is. I have that on my TBR too.
I don't know what that is. I'm guessing it's a romance. Let me look it up. Oh, I like the cover of this. You probably can't see it.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. That's Twisted Jenny.
Yeah, I'm known by many names. Gin, Ginny, Demon, which is kind of interesting.
And it's white shoes. So I don't know about it.
Yeah,
like, you don't really read. Yeah.
I don't think I've tried a white shoes. I just hear you talk about them all the time, but I don't think I've actually.
I feel like if you were to try a white shoes book, you should try Trader Witch by Mary Mystery, because it has a lot of plot and fantasy elements. And the plot is the actual like plot and intrigue and war are all, they take a really like a front seat, but there's a lot of smut still too.
Trader Witch.
Mm-hmm. If you were gonna do a white shoes, I think that would be.
That's already on my TBR, and I'm guessing that's because of you.
Probably.
If I had to
guess. I'm the only one that I know that is always talking about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's on there because of you. My other options were To Kill a Kingdom or The Deep. I like the buddy read in the Discord. People are really liking To Kill a Kingdom, but there's also a buddy read for Into the Drowning Deep, and I love that book. It's my new mission in life to get everyone to read A Ship of Bones and Teeth. There's something with the teeth that like makes me cringe though. Something about teeth. There's like a lot of horror books out there that have teeth on the cover and stuff, and I automatically go to horror for some reason. But I do want to.
I really want to read it, but I might read it second half of the month. Right now, I'm kind of having issues reading when there's not an audiobook, and that's not always the case with me.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like a mood I've been in for the last like week and a half. So
yeah, I get that too. Is it on KU, I'm guessing?
Yeah, it's on KU. I'll get to it soon. I know that. It's just that right now I'm just like audiobooking everything.
Yeah. That's because you're like making blankets and stuff.
Yeah, and I think I just go through different phases. Sometimes like I won't read an audiobook for a whole month or something, but that doesn't usually happen much, but like I'm not like it has to be audiobook all the time for me. Luckily, like for me, I can sit down and read like a lot, but just depends on my mood.
Just a mood. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Is that good?
I slept in pretty intensely, so the first sprint will be showering, getting ready for the day. A monster romance.
Nice. Which one? Is it the monster one with the Cerberus? Because there's a Cerberus one that's out right now.
Of course, Daphne. When does the Steam Smart start? See, I like a slow burn, but you guys are more into the steam. Give me the slow burn. Hello. I get things done when I do audiobooks, but I love sitting and reading, but then my house falls apart.
Right.
All right, do you want to do 45 minutes?
Because with the readathon and like other stuff going on, I'm so busy. So my house is already falling apart. So yeah, audiobooks have been kind of helping me keep it less falling apart, but it's still falling apart.
You also have 2 little kids, right? 2 or 3?
Yeah, I've got 2. Yeah, I've got 2.
2, but they're young.
Noah just turned 2 and Jonah turns 4 in September.
Mm-hmm.
So a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old is what I have.
I'm on the first of the main Warts and Claws series. My friend loaned it to me because she loved it. Never heard of that.
Yeah, is that the I started one of those and I think I DNF'd it, but I think I was reading a lot of books at the time and that might be why I DNF'd it. But it was a throuple and it was 3 women, so it was like a sapphic throuple. Is that one?
Oh, interesting. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-month-old. It's rough. Wow. I just have cats.
Especially, and then congratulations, by the way, because that's awesome. That's hard. I feel like it's hard, like getting used to having 2, because like 1 is 1 and 2 is like 10. That's seriously like what it feels like.
Yeah, that's there. You have to wait until they're older and then they can just distract each other.
Mm-hmm.
I have a freshman in high school that does virtual school, so we are trying to get him through the end of the year, hurry and get it done phase 2. Yeah, the end of the year is rough. I definitely need some good reading in today. Need to get some good reading in today. Did you finish The Serpent and the Wings of Night, Daphne? I want to know your thoughts on that one.
She was reading that? I missed that.
I think so, yeah. It's a throuple, but 2 men and 1 woman. It's at least 80% smut, so you definitely have to be in the right mood to read it.
Yeah, I remember when I was reading, and I have to be in the right mood for a book that's basically 90% smut. And this one was, and I think it was it was the office environment, and I think it was like Omegaverse, and she was, one of the main characters was, she went into heat and found her 2 mates at the same time. And I was missing a lot because I didn't realize that series kind of does need to be read in order. That's what happened. Yeah, I remember now. That series has to be read in order, but I did not know it because I thought it was like a romance series where you could just pop around wherever, there is an overarching plot that is really integral, it seems, to like everything that's going on. So I was just not understanding anything other than the smut, so that was even harder for me.
Yeah.
I think there's this bad guy and bad things happening and stuff like that, but they were referencing all these things that I
You
didn't
didn't
know
have
about.
context. Yeah. Would you go back and read
Yeah,
the first one?
I would go back and read it. I just haven't yet.
Yeah, because that's rare for a romance series. You have to read them in order. But
Right. When it's different couples.
yeah, Hannah, how is Africa
It's
Rhythm
going good.
doing
I
with
think
you?
I've read the first 4. I've read the first 4.
How
So
many
I
are
need to
there?
get some reading done in that too. And I might do that some today too. But yeah, I've read the first 4. I think I've given 2 of them 5 stars. I think one of them I gave like 3.5, 4, and I think one I gave like 2.5.
When is the live show for that?
Friday?
Friday? Because I want to read that before the live show, but yikes.
Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
All right, maybe I'll listen to a few stories at night. Yeah. Hello. Audiobooks have been my saving grace. Yeah, that's what I hear. There you go. You got it. I'm still in the middle of Serpent. I'm learning competitions and romances don't draw me in too much, so I'm reading it here and there. That's interesting.
See, I like them.
Fourth Wing? I'd be curious.
Has she read Fourth Wing?
I don't think she has, but it's another competition one. So that's why I'm wondering.
I do like them. Like, I liked that in Fortune is Sworn. I liked that in ACOTAR. I never read Divergent or what is that other series? Hunger Games?
Hunger
I
Games.
never
You
read
never read the
those.
Hunger
I
Games?
loved the movies. Like, I lived those movies for a while.
I just rewatched the movies because the next movie is coming out. So it's like, I'm in the mood. I'm gonna rewatch these.
Wait, what?
There's a prequel. It's like the book that came out. It's like President Snow's story. People didn't love the book, but yeah, you have to watch the trailer though. It looks good. I mean, it's completely different characters because it's a prequel, but
right.
Yeah.
I especially I think I liked Divergent even more than Hunger Games, but I only really liked the first Divergent.
Yes, I agree. And then they never finished it.
I don't think I liked the third one. And then Hunger Games, I liked all of them though.
They're all good. But Fourth Wing really reminds me of Divergent.
Oh, for sure.
Like some of the setup.
I think that's why I really liked it.
Yeah, so if you like Divergent, you'll like that one.
Right.
I love Serpent and the Wings. The competition was good. Yeah, I think the competition is some of my favorite. But that's a super slow burn, so I could see maybe it's not Daphne's favorite.
Have you read Fortune is Sworn?
I haven't. I'll have to.
I guess it's not really. I don't know if it's not competition. It's more like how with ACOTAR, there's things she has to do.
Yeah, like tasks or something. But I haven't read ACOTAR either. Zach, what do you think of the Salt Grows Heavy? Because I was confused the entire time I was reading that, but there was some pretty writing. And I couldn't tell you anything about the plot of that one. I feel like you were just dropped into the middle of a story. It's strange. I'm tempted due to the hype. I could read it through the library. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what you think of that one. I finished Fourth Wing on Friday, and to avoid a slump, I've completely switched genres. So I'm reading I Want to Die, but I Want to Eat. I've never heard of that one. How do you pronounce that word? What genre is that? I'm curious. I skimmed the competition in ACOTAR. See, you would think I would know more about ACOTAR. I didn't even know there was a competition in it. This is the first time I'm hearing that. I only ever hear about the romance.
Yeah. It's tasks, but I also like tasks. I like tasks and competition.
Yeah. Oh, it's a memoir. Into the Sublime, which is water setting horror. Oh, I need to check that out because I am all about water setting horror right now. Hello, Maggie. I want to read The Salt Grows Heavy, but I hated her other book, Nothing But Blackened Teeth. This one seems to be getting better reviews, but it was a really strange book. There's kind of a romance in it, but it's very graphic, very gore heavy. It's like a romance between a mermaid and a plague doctor. And they walk through a forest. That's really what it is. It's interesting. But yeah. Do we want to do a 45-minute sprint? Yeah, it's weird. Do you want to do a 45-minute sprint so you can finish your book?
Yes.
Yeah, let me set it. I have 40 set, so I'll set it to 45. It's been so long since I've done this that who knows? I've only hosted a live sprint once in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just for the Reindeer Readathon in December.
I don't do a lot of them, just I guess more so during like readathons.
Readathons. I join you. I'm always joining you. That's kind of my thing. All right, well, so we'll see you in 45 minutes.
Good job. Let's take a short break.
That was odd.
What just happened?
I have it set to the default, and I guess that's how it ends. There you go. And I think it gave us like a little 5-minute warning or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very strange.
How'd you do?
Here, anybody. I read like 40 pages, but I'm immersion reading it. So I'm getting through it pretty fast.
Okay.
Have you seen the new Little Mermaid? I don't think so. You don't go to movies, eh?
No. Oh my God, you just sounded so Canadian.
I'm so Canadian. I say A all the time. My brother's girlfriend is from the US, and she says I'm like the most Canadian sounding person she knows. Sometimes I watch my videos and I'm editing them, and I'm like, oh my God, you sound so Canadian.
I think that you are one of the most Canadian sounding Canadian booktubers. I think Sarah sounds very Canadian too. Sarah from Sarah Reads, yeah.
But I'm like Northern Ontario, so I'm like deep in Canada. Like I'm not near border or anything. It's like pretty Canadian up here. And you should hear like I'm pretty good compared to some of my family, but oh yeah. And Kristen is here. Kristen just got 1,000 subscribers, and didn't say anything about it. So I'm highlighting it. I'm gonna make her uncomfortable.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And Kristen is also Canadian, so it says A a lot. I just feel like it's like, I don't know how else to...
Denmark, right? Is it Denmark?
Yes, Copenhagen. I don't know, how else are you supposed to ask a question?
A?
A, like, yes.
So I finished my book, and
so
I finished my book, and then on this, I went into the other book that I was reading, and it looks like there's fake dating, marriage of convenience.
Oh, I love fake dating, and I like marriage of convenience too. Are you gonna start that right away?
Well, yeah, I finished the first book because I like bumped up the speed. I guess my speed was like lower, so I bumped it up, and then I read like for, I don't know, 5 minutes or something. I read the other book, so I'm like, I am, I don't know, 55 or 60 pages in, because I don't think this is updated because I was listening to the audiobook.
Nice. So the reason I asked about The Little Mermaid is because this, if you haven't seen this new one, they have like new themes, so I won't spoil it, but I feel like there's a perspective in here, and it's The Little Mermaid.
Oh, where, really?
Like his dad, but like kind of reversed. His dad's keeping him trapped in the palace, and he's the favorite brother, but he's got a fascination with Jin, so he like escapes. So it's like her with the, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool.
Look, another person reading Shiva Bonati. Need to try it. Yeah, no, I don't know where the voice. I just assumed it would be a timer, but I guess it's not like a bell or something. I don't know how to change it, so just get used to the voice. Yeah, very polite. It's a Pomodoro timer. It was the first one that came up when I searched. So I don't know. My book is a historical pirate romance. Which one?
Yeah, which one?
Yeah. I feel like
I have a bunch of my TBR, and I'm on a historical binge right now. I just read my third for the month.
That was a Tessa Dare one, right?
It was. It was the second one in the Girl Meets Duke series. I really like the first one. I really like this one. Tessa Dare is really fun. Like, I like her historicals. And then I read
she's like a go-to.
Huh?
Yeah. I feel like if you ask for a historical fiction, she's who people recommend.
Because I feel like it's a little bit easier to read because she doesn't, like, she writes historicals like they were written in the modern day almost, in terms of like the way they talk and stuff like that. It's not like it's not like dense or anything like that. I liked the Lisa Kleypas book I read this month. That was like my favorite historical I read this month. That was It Happened One Summer. And then I read a pirate romance too by Joanna Lindsay. I can't remember what it was called.
Was that the one? It was just smut. Or was that
Gentle Rogue.
Oh. Huh? Wasn't there a pirate one you were reading and it was just smut?
Oh, that was Pirate's Witch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Love the pirates. My comments had to refresh. Daphne read about 6%. A bit over halfway through, so I don't know what is happening either, but I do like it. Yeah, that's the feeling. It's just, you just gotta accept it for what it is. It's very confusing. I reached a steamy seed, and it was unhinged. I feel like that's what Hannah wants.
Like, what kind of unhinged?
Yeah, more details. Are you liking it, Kristen? Because Kristen did not like Serpents in the Wing of Night. Spoilers, everyone. For, I'm sure, a future video, but because I feel like they're similar. Like, if you're gonna like one, you're gonna like the other. But No Rest for the Wicked. Oh yes, I did know that. It's not on KU, but it was $3.99. Have you heard of that one?
No. I'm going to look it up.
Yep, pirates. Half a Soul. I've had Half a Soul for ages. I need to get to it. I'm happy you're loving it. A lady astride. First chapter, he had a lady astride him, pumping her for information. So that's the book you're looking at.
Jesus.
Started Into the Drowning Deep. It is so good. It is so good. Have you read? There's also the prequel novella, and that is on Scribd if you have it. And I really liked that too. The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea. One of the best mermaid and pirate books I've ever read. I put that on my TBR because somebody mentioned it in the Discord, and it looks cute. Did you find? Oh, we're on mute. Bye. You're back.
Yeah.
Did you find that book?
Huh?
Did you find that book?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It looks like Jen from the Book Refuge rated it 5 stars.
There you go.
4.5 stars. She said 2.5 on the spice scale.
Out of 5, I'm guessing.
It sounds like it's that's not maybe it doesn't stay as spicy. Oh my gosh, I love the cover for the third one in the series. Well, that's a pretty cover. Look at the cover for the third one in the series.
You're frozen. Oh, there you are. Oh yeah, that's exactly your kind of cover.
That's for the third one.
Yeah, the third one. Daphne.
I don't really like this one. This is the book.
Oh yeah. Does scream pirates though.
Oh, here's another edition. Okay, I love this cover.
Oh yeah. I like the historical fiction covers. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, they're nice.
Ooh, this is pretty.
There you go. You were looking. You need more historical romance. There you go.
I have a pile of pirate historicals on my desk.
I wonder if they're audiobooks though. They know you're in your audiobook mood.
Oh, is it audio?
I don't know if there is. You'll have to look.
Oh.
I want to hold my feelings close to the chest on Fourth Wing. You always do this to me, but I've not DNF'd, so it's at least a little. Did you actually DNF Serpents? I thought you finished it. I guess not. You haven't read that one yet, have you, Hannah? Serpent in the Wing of Night?
No, I need to. I really want to, but oh my gosh, I'm getting distracted because I'm like, oh my gosh,
I love it. This is what happens.
I get on Goodreads. Like my ADD comes out like in full force.
Goodreads is bad for that. Apparently, you need to look up the cover for Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters. I'm going to look that up.
Okay. Twist my arm, why don't you?
I like Jane Austen retellings, so. Oh my, do you see it? You can probably make it bigger on yours.
Oh, that's like no, that's terrifying.
This does not have good reviews. A 3.28. 3.28, not the greatest reviews.
Because he's like that. I'm like, I don't like tentacles coming from the face, like on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly that vibe. You're not into that?
I've read tentacle ones, but not. I don't. The tentacles from the face is like this. Is this a romance or a no? This is horror romance.
It is
what fiction, fantasy, horror, humor, classic romance, historical fiction, retelling, comedy, paranormal. That is a range.
Yeah, giant lobsters, octopuses, and a two-headed sea serpents. Interesting.
Wow. I'm gonna think. I'm thinking that's not for me.
You're not adding that to your TBR.
No.
Hi, Sarah. Have you started Fourth Wing yet? We're trying to do like
nothing against tentacles. I like tentacles, but I think that was like more horror and like it's the face, the tentacles from the face.
Yeah.
It's just not.
I like how you said I like tentacles. I don't think I've ever read anything with tentacles either. At least not a romance.
I've read a couple. The ball scene. Is that in?
I like the ball scene in Serpents in the Wing of Night.
Oh, I haven't read it.
Yeah. It's a massive amount of gore and all the Jane Austen stuff, and there's only 2 spicy scenes.
Interesting.
I don't know, like, if I'm the biggest fan of gore. It just depends.
Yeah. Especially the thing is, like, I don't know. I like dark, like horror romances. They're more like in terms of if they're like dark romances and gothic, and there's like a lot of like certain like kinks and tropes I like that are like super dark. Yeah. But like, I don't know about horror romance in terms of like gory horror with romance. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how that would blend. Even in just regular horror, I don't love gore as much.
Yeah, I don't like extreme horror. Well, no, I've liked extreme horror that was extreme more in the content of like, this is effed up, but not extreme horror like extreme slashery.
Yeah, that's not bloody.
Yeah, I don't really like slasher stuff.
Trying to finish up my pirate book today. Probably won't finish all of Trust though. I might carry over to my week of reading. What pirate book is it? Hello. We have a DNF for Ship of Bones and Teeth. I'm shocked. That has been such a popular book. Well, why'd you DNF it?
Give us the tea. Like it's a mood thing too. She was switching to a slasher.
Switching to a slasher. Summer is for slashers. I don't mind a slasher in the summertime. I like a teen slasher for some reason. It's over the top. It's funny.
I got this much done in my dish towel.
Nice. That was a lot from what you showed me before we started.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't show off your blanket to everybody.
I'm sitting on it.
Is it 4 years in the making?
4 years, but it's giant.
There you go. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's like bigger than your couch.
Oh, here?
Yeah, it's huge.
It's large. Nice. And it took me almost 4 years, and I made I did the design myself, like how I did the pattern and everything like that.
It's all different. Yeah.
I like it.
Pirate books for the readathon. So I finished Fable and Gunpowder and Cinnamon, and I will finish Stardust today. Nice. I hadn't heard about Gunpowder and Cinnamon until this readathon, but it sounds like something I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never heard of it.
It's like, I think it's cozy. You like a cozy once in a while. I had so many issues with it, unfortunately. I couldn't even list them all. Yikes.
Fair.
See, this makes me nervous because I feel like that book is so outside of my comfort zone.
I feel like I've heard a lot of mixed things about Karina Halle, so I'm very interested to try a book of hers. And I figure if I'm going to, it might as well be that one.
That one, yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I said, audiobook, I don't know. So I didn't used to be like that. No. I feel like more and more I've been like reading so many more audiobooks.
I feel like that's what happens once you start listening to audiobooks. Like, I feel like a lot of people are like that, and I'm like that too. Or like, I'm reading this physically, but I also have the audiobook. Which means that a lot of the times I'm spending more money because it's not on script or anything. You know what I mean? It's like I kind of need it, and my library hold when I'm coming on time. So
right,
yeah.
I use a lot of because I have the script and Audible, and then library. But my library does.
I do Libro, but I have Audible too because a lot of stuff's only on Audible, which is annoying. But you should. Have you ever applied to the influencer program for LibroFem? It's your audiobook. I think you just need to have 1,000 followers on some social media, so your YouTube counts. And every month they give you ALCs, so like ARCs, but audiobooks. And I think this month they gave us 40 to choose from, and you can pick as many as you want. And there's some good ones on there. I think you're frozen.
I know.
There you go. You're back.
I'm sorry.
You're back. Oh, it's not cozy. Lots of brutal pirate violence. I think the cinnamon makes me think it's cozy, but I guess it's not. But I also lots of description of food, which is a hallmark of what people expect from cozy thanks to Legends and Lattes.
I think I am gonna hop off because it's doing it more and more, and like
yeah,
my internet's. And hubby is already grilling for, I guess, probably an early dinner. So I want to help him watch the kids.
Sounds good. I'll go right to it.
I think there's sprints. Is it tomorrow or Tuesday?
Are there?
I saw them. I think there's there's 2 in one of the days, but I think there's a bunch more. So I'll see you again.
Yeah,
soon,
I think
hopefully.
the 22nd. I think the 22nd we're doing 2.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I will see you guys later. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm going to send Sarah the link then. Yeah, it was fun. Thank you for coming with all the kids. Okay, I'll just do a 45-minute sprint, and Sarah, I'll send you the link. So 1 second.
Good job. Let's take a short break.
I don't know what that's about, but it's all right. I guess her voice is better than some of the things where you like get really scared.
Yeah, not a bell or a
yeah, like the cat that meows every time gets me every time.
Yeah.
Hey, stranger, what are you up to? It's weird to see you reading a physical book.
I know, it's from the library, and
Oh, look
I
at you.
actually have been reading it in ebook version, and I only grabbed this off of the shelf behind me for this. I'm also going to warn you,
Just
like
for the
I'm
show.
really sniffly today, so if that's I don't know what's going
Is
on.
that
It's probably just
allergy?
something is blooming. Yeah, I don't know. I was really bad when the lilacs bloomed, and then now I don't know what
Oh
it is
yeah.
today, but I'm super sniffly, and
Do
my
you
hair is
have
wet, but
You
we're good.
can't tell. You look good. Do you have smoke from the wildfires there?
Today is not too bad. Friday was pretty bad. Like it
Was
was,
it?
I mean, not as bad as like Toronto, or like
Yeah.
even in the US, like New York, like the pictures that I saw, but
I know. I
we
couldn't believe that.
definitely we had some. Like it was just hazy. Like it wasn't that horrible like orange color, but it definitely
Yeah,
was
that's what we had
impacting
too.
us.
That's what we had too. I didn't have the yellow, but
We
and we
did
had one not
earlier,
far from us.
like because
Yeah.
it's actually for where I live in Winnipeg, it's more so the like Alberta fires that were causing us to have smoke because that's the way the wind
Yeah.
travels is from like the west to the east. So like I'm not getting smoke from the Maritimes or Quebec, like I'm getting smoke from
The other
BC and
side.
Alberta that comes, and I guess like Saskatchewan too, though I don't think there's a ton of fires in Saskatchewan right now. And so far, like Manitoba's been okay. We haven't had
Well,
too
we
much.
have rain. We have rain now, so hopefully that is a good thing near me because I'm
Except
closer to Quebec.
if it comes with lightning strikes, that actually can cause
Oh yeah,
fires.
that's not good. But it doesn't say it doesn't say we're supposed to have rain all week long.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
So, how are you liking Tress? Have you read other Sanderson?
I have never read Sanderson before.
I didn't think
I
so. I didn't
am.
think so.
How far am I in? I'm coming up to chapter 21. It's
Nice.
fine. I mean,
It sounds like something you would like in theory.
like it's quirky, but so like you know how T Kingfisher stuff, I think anyway, is quirky in a way that like just feels natural. Like I believe that T Kingfisher is just a quirky person. I don't
100%. Yeah,
know
yeah.
that this feels as natural. Like it feels like it's trying really hard.
To be. Yeah, and if you're not familiar with his writing, I guess
Yeah.
it's just a one-off. Yeah.
It
I'm
also
reading one I
feels.
think you liked.
What do you got?
The Stardust Thief.
Oh, yeah, I read that when it came
Yep.
out. I did like that one,
That's
and
what
I
I
can't
thought.
wait for the sequel. The sequel is coming out later this year, so
I didn't love the cover for it. Not that you care because
I haven't seen the cover, so I don't actually know. I'll have to look
I
it
don't even
up.
know what
What
it's
the
called. I don't even know what it's called now. But I'll
I
definitely be
can't
reading it because I'm
remember.
having fun.
Let's see.
I didn't expect us to have multi POVs for some reason, and I like that.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
has. It's been a while since I read it. It has the prince and
The
the
Midnight
woman,
Merchant.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's another one as well.
Oh,
The
there's.
Ashfire King.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there
Do you
we
see
go.
it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I like the
Yeah, it's
first
kind of
cover
generic.
better.
Me too. Me too. But
I like the orange cover of the first book because there's orange and purple. I've
yeah,
seen,
mine's
I think,
purple because of
yeah,
Fairy Loot. Yeah.
yeah. And then I think the paperback is purple because I was gonna buy the paperback because I don't really like hardcovers that much. I know I'm like the weird exception to the rule, but I didn't. I saw it in the bookstore and I was like, I don't know that I like the purple as much. The orange makes more sense to me, like
It
for
does
like
make sense.
desert, like
Yeah.
hot. I don't know. I think orange is like a better color for that. But yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun. And I heard mixed things when it came out, but I'm having a good time with it. Just joined. I'm currently reading The Wicked and the Willing, a gothic horror. Oh, that sounds good.
I haven't heard of that
Everything
one.
I like. Me neither. I like gothic horror. I like sapphic. I like vampires. Daphne and 10% and the romantic aspects are picking up in the Twisted Ginny. Good. I started The Salt Grows Heavy. I really liked it. Oh, you finished it. It's the closest thing I can compare it to is The Island of the Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells, which I've never read.
Is that the one with the cover that has like the plague doctor?
Yeah.
The Salt Grows Heavy?
I read it last week and have no idea what I read. It was like one of the most confusing. It's like you can recognize that the writing's beautiful and stuff and it's kind of interesting, but I was like, what is this? You're just like flopped in the middle of the story, I feel like. It's horror.
Is it
It's
horror?
really gory. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I had seen it and it was like originally on my list of like books I was interested in that were coming out this year. And then I realized it was horror and I was like, yeah, I think I will stay away.
Yes, I don't think that's one. I was going to buy it too. And it was like, I went to Chapters and it was like $30 for a novella this big. And I was like, I can't justify. Yeah.
Check on Book Outlet in a couple of months.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I have to do.
You can get
the horror section at Chapters is awful, so bad.
I don't read horror, so I've never actually been to like look, but I know that
one shelf.
Stuff gets shelved weird at Chapters though. Like,
yeah,
there's stuff in like the literary fiction section that I think should be in fantasy, and then there's stuff in the fantasy section that I'm like, that's really more literary. Like, I don't know how you decide that line.
Me neither.
But
and I find their fantasy sections weird.
Yeah, and then the sci-fi, at least at the one near where, like the one that I go to, the sci-fi is a lot smaller than the fantasy section, which I think is kind of interesting because generally I think like of sci-fi being more popular, but I don't know if that's just my weird perception or if it actually is more popular than fantasy. But
I feel like it's the same audience. But
yeah, that's true, I guess. I've been reading more sci-fi this year than I have in previous years, so I'm starting to become a sci-fi reader.
I prefer sci-fi, but obviously I read more fantasy because I feel like that's what's recommended on BookTube more.
Well, because of the little sphere of BookTube
that we get in.
Found yourself in, because we're in the like fantasy BookTube corner.
I feel like it's fantasy and then romance and like really smutty romances that I don't read, but I find interesting to hear about from other people. These are that's like the BookTube friends that I'm surrounded by, and it's interesting.
Yeah, I definitely watch a lot of like literary fiction booktubers, but I don't really read that anymore. Like, I feel like before I started BookTube, I read more of that kind of thing because I was part of a book club on Goodreads that read a lot more of that kind of stuff. And I wasn't reading a ton either. Like, I read way more now. But yeah, I don't know. I like reading like literary fiction type stuff, and the crossover stuff can be really interesting. That's kind of feels more literary but is speculative in some little way.
I just feel like I get so distracted by the hype, so I don't read like these things that because I have so many literary fiction books on my physical TBR that who knows when I'll get to, but I don't have the heart to unhaul them.
Yeah, I haven't read Hamnet yet. You have
to read Hamnet.
I know, and I'm so mad about it because I have a collection of books that are fiction based on Shakespeare's life, which is like a very specific thing. But there has been so much fiction written either like about him or his family or like different things. Like I have, they're not on the shelf behind me. They're actually downstairs, but I have like a whole shelf of books like that because when I was a kid, we read Q for Treason in school. I don't know if you ever read that book, but it was about this kid who dressed up, like was a runaway and dressed up as a boy to join the theater, like traveling theater troupe. And like he gets to meet, well, she dressed as a boy gets to meet like Marlowe and Shakespeare and like a bunch of different characters from the time period. And I loved that book. And then I started like searching out those kinds of things, and I've read a number of different things. And so I bought Hamnet as soon as like I could. I mean, I don't ever pre-order things, so I bought it like on sale as soon as it went on sale, and I haven't read it yet, and I'm so sad because I think it sounds amazing, and like everybody was talking about it 2 years ago when it came out, and like The
I
new
think
one by Maggie
23.
O'Farrell. Oh yeah, it might have even been 3 years. Yeah, like the new one.
Yeah, I haven't read that one
marriage
yet.
portrait.
Yeah, I haven't read that one yet, but I want to.
So
You should make a video about that very specific niche.
yeah, it is. I've thought about doing something in September for like Shakespeare in September or whatever it is. Like some people on BookTube do that. Not the spheres that we're in, obviously, but
No.
because like there's also a lot of really good like fantasy books or speculative books that connect to Shakespeare. Like last year I read 2 different books that were both retellings of Shakespeare, and one of them was um what was it called? It had Bright in the title. And it was a retelling of The Tempest, and it was like YA fantasy.
I feel like I can picture it.
I can't remember what it was called. It wasn't like one of my favorites, but and there was another one that I read that was a retelling, and I'm forgetting now, but yeah, very specific niche thing, which
I feel like the only retelling I've read is The Hamnet, and I read Much Ado About Mean Girls. Did you ever see that?
Interesting. I have never heard of
like
that.
Oh my god, it's written like a play, like a Shakespeare play, but it's a retelling Mean Girls, the movie.
Interesting.
It was written by Shakespeare, and it's hilarious.
Wow. That sounds interesting.
Wait,
no, there's the Mona Awad book that's a retelling of, or is like centered around Shakespeare.
All's Well.
All's Well. Yeah. So that's on my list.
It's very strange, but yeah.
That the one that I always get mixed up there with the YA that's like All of Us Villains. We Were All Villains.
I know. Yeah. Is that
where they're all the one that you talked about that is Shakespeare, where it's like dark academia and they're all obsessed with Shakespeare. Isn't that what is that one
called?
When
We Were Villains. When We Were Villains.
When We Were Villains. I always get it mixed up with the other one. And
yes. Which I actually love that book. See, I have read more than I think. You just have to remind me.
Yeah. So I should do a vlog though. I've been vlogging, but I haven't been editing. So like I have a backlog of stuff that I need to post. Like I have a vlog, I have footage that I haven't edited. My 5-star predictions, because I read.
I've been waiting on that for ages.
I know. I read them like before I had my surgery. Like, so I had my surgery in March and we're in June.
February.
So that was a long time ago. And then I have my next installment of Fantasy Reader Tries Sci-Fi, where I read Some Desperate Glory and I'm forgetting what the other one even that I read in that was. Oh, the one that was nominated for the Nebula. The Mountain Under the Sea. Yeah, that was what it was called.
Oh, I can picture the cover.
Yeah, so I read those 2 and vlogged it, and then this week I have been vlogging my pirate books, which will circle back around to what we're actually here sprinting for, which is the Readathon.
I'll go through some comments, but I better see that 5-star predict. I need to know what you thought of the Spareman. So
yeah,
Fireborn, which is a popular one. Promised in Fire. I loved Fireborn. Have you read that?
No, it's on my list.
That's what Kristen pushes.
Yeah, is that the first book in the series, Fireborn? Or
is that, okay, that's the first one.
Yeah,
and
I have it. It's on my shelf.
Oh, you actually own it. This author has a book coming out, a new series, I think. I'm gonna read the original Pinocchio from 1883. I think it also has pirates and mermaids. Does it?
Well, it definitely has a whale that eats people. That's water.
Yeah, that scarred me as a child. Yay, Team Jin. And Sarah's also on Team Jin. Because I forced them. Reading Shadow of Fog Island. Interesting. The second book in a series about a cult. The author has been in Scientology. Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
I do like cult stories. I watch a lot of cult documentaries. I just watch that shiny, happy people.
Yeah, I'm not really big on the cults.
No. There's Daphne, Team Jin. What to Do About Mean Girls to TBR sounds good. It is fun. It is really fun. I think there might be a few more where they did like Shakespeare and took those kind of movies. It's funny. I couldn't stand The Prince and the Stardust Thief, but I love the friendship between the thief and her bodyguard. I didn't know you read that. I like The Prince.
He's kind of annoying sometimes, but I actually didn't like the third character, who we are not naming because I think that might be spoilerish.
Yeah.
The third POV was my least favorite.
I just don't understand the purpose of that POV yet. I don't know if that comes around, but I just don't think I get why we're getting that perspective yet.
Yeah, I think. See, it's been a long time since I read it, and I'm trying to remind myself if it becomes apparent at the end. I know the one big complaint I had about the Stardust Thief was that between the like midpoint and the end, I can't remember where exactly it happened in the story, but there is an event that happens that like raises the stakes super high, and I was like, holy crap, like we have real stakes, like this is great. And then it's not the end of the book, so then you have the kind of come down from that, but then you can't raise the stakes even higher. So then there's like the ending, and like for me, if I'm gonna get an ending that's like a cliffhanger, which is what Stardust Thief has, it has a cliffhanger ending.
Okay, good
Like
to know.
the stakes need to be really high, and I felt like the stakes couldn't go any higher because they'd already been so high earlier in the book. So for me, that was a bit of a, that's the one like big complaint that I had. But I really loved also the like interstitial chapters, like where you have the stories like that relate.
Let me show you. I was this because I'm buddy reading this with Becky, you know, from Beck's Reads, and I'm trying to. Where are these scrolls? This is an interesting thing I don't understand while they're doing. See how it's like this in the book? So it looks like the scroll.
Interesting. That must be hard to read.
Every other page is like, this is still part of the scroll, but it's not like that.
They cheaped out on the ink.
Well, they cheaped out. Like, I don't understand this choice, but it's interesting. I do like those parts though.
And that's the fairy loot.
This is the
fairy loot edition. Yeah.
Yeah, and but they, I don't know. It's an interesting way to do world building without like info dumpy, like not the traditional way.
Well, and given the fact that like the inspiration is like the 1001 Nights stories, which like it has that feel, that like storytelling feel, which I really love in books, which is also probably why I really enjoyed Stardust Thief, was because it was very much like storytelling vibes and that kind of like distance. There's a bit of a distance to it, which even though like it's first person, right? The writing, or is it third person?
I'm currently reading it and I'm like
if I remember correctly, I think it was first person, but I could be wrong.
It's third.
Oh, it is third. Okay. So yeah, that like, and that always creates a little more distance than first person. That's good. I tend to like third person better. So
I feel like it depends. Yeah. I like third person in fantasy.
Yeah. I think it's just really hard when you're like right inside the character's head, which when you're in first person, like that's how it works. Like that's what the big problem with Red Rising was. Like the third book, it's not the Red Rising series, I should say. The third book in Red Rising, anybody who's read that and knows the dirty trick that was played on the reader by the author because he breaks the rules of first person narrative.
I haven't read that one. Yeah, I hated the second one, so I didn't continue on.
Really?
I'll just have to get spoiled. And that is because I can't stand Darrow. I'm like, I can't be in Darrow's head for one more minute.
I don't love those books. I mean, I think I like the idea of those books, but I hate how people on the internet talk about those books because they're YA. They're written at a grade level. Like the actual writing is so simplistic, but because it's a man who was the author, like we talk about it in a way that like we don't talk about Hunger Games that way. It's essentially like Hunger Games, and everyone always points out that Hunger Games was YA. Like the brutality in Hunger Games and the brutality in Red Rising are on par. Like you know, if the whole reason that that Red Rising is adult is because of the themes, then Hunger Games is adult.
And I didn't cry during Red Rising. I cried during Hunger Games.
I haven't read Hunger Games in so long. I remember when I did my review, because I have a standalone review, and I think I got confused in my review and was calling it YA, but I think it's put out by an adult imprint. If I remember correctly. There's been a couple of those that I've reviewed where it's like it feels like YA, but at the same time, I think our idea of what YA is so skewed now.
Yeah.
That it's like as soon as it's got a younger protagonist and like doesn't feature sex, it's like, oh, it's YA.
It's YA. And it's written by a woman, so.
Yeah.
But I think I did get this in the adult fairy lit.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the publisher is an adult publisher. I can't remember who the
It's
publisher
Orbit.
is. Yeah, so it's an adult
Yeah,
imprint.
so that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristen's asking if you read The Queens of Innisleer.
Not yet. It's on my list. We were clear. I think Kristen must be watching us. Like she must be a little bit behind us on the comments, because when we were talking about that's a King Lear retelling, which is Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Queens of Innisleer is on my list. I know. I can't remember, Kristen, if you did. Kristen, who's commenting, if she had done either a vlog or she talked about it at some point, and that's when I added it to my TBR, but I have not got to it yet. I feel like that's a fall book. And Kristen, who is commenting, maybe you can tell me if it is a fall book, because there are just certain things that I think I need to read in the fall.
Yeah, I get that. By the way, I'm going to post Sarah's channel in the comments. So everybody who doesn't follow Sarah can go subscribe. And then you can look forward to the Shakespeare video, the 5-star prediction video,
oh my goodness.
the Pirates
video. I am so bad at posting right now. I haven't posted anything. Like
Kristen posted today, and I was like, 14 seconds, I was there. Commented 14 seconds, posted, I'm here.
I haven't been on YouTube as much lately.
Yeah.
Part of it too, like not the posting part, but watching YouTube, is because when I work from home, I put YouTube on in the background, like in my office, because I have multiple screens. But when I go into the office for work, I don't like watching YouTube while I'm working, because I feel like people will judge me. And so I don't do that. I usually just will listen to like a podcast or something that I can like mostly like not ignore, but like, you can have it on kind of as background noise. And I've been going into the office a lot more lately, because they've kind of been doing the whole like push of like, you need to be in the office. If you're not in the office, are you really working? And it's like, yeah.
But also watching YouTube. So you're getting more done when you're working at home, really.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things where if you think about it, like a lot of the work that I do is like computer work, and it's work that I can like, I never like, I don't comment on people's videos while I'm working. Like I just literally have it as like background sound to like make me feel like I don't have to be paranoid about every little noise in my house, because I'm one of those paranoid people that if I sit here with nothing, I'm going to think that, the 100-year-old house creaking is someone who's broken in and is coming to get me.
This is
which is why I don't read horror.
It all makes sense. There you go. We're going to have to make you read horror for book club.
Well, I mean, I've read a few horror books, or books that people tell me are horror, that I didn't really feel like they were that horrific. Like I didn't have any problem with What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. Like that didn't like, I didn't really register that as horror, but I know it's more like the gothic horror. So it's less, though there is some body horror in that, is my understanding, and I didn't find it that like disturbing.
You need to read her new one. A House with Good Bones.
Yeah. I have been thinking about that.
That much. I don't think it'll scare you that much. It feels almost more like her than What Moves the Dead did, in my opinion.
What Moves the Dead was really different from her other stuff.
Yeah.
And
like this one feels more like her.
I'm looking forward to, is it Thornhedge that's coming out this summer or in the fall? I can't remember when it comes out, but soon-ish.
Denied an e-arc. I was very upset.
I'm so far behind on my e-arc reviews that I have not requested anything else.
This is the problem when it's you and I. Too much talking, not enough.
Yeah. Well, I only have till 4:00 my time, which is 30 more minutes. So I don't know if we want to do another sprint.
Okay. Or we can just chat.
I don't know. I mean, people could let us know in the comments, because I'm happy either way. I mean, I know I'm not going to finish. My plan had been to finish Tress of the Emerald Sea, which I keep wanting to call Tress of the Road because of Tess of the Road, which is a different book. And so in my brain, I keep getting the two mixed up. But I wanted to finish that one today, and Stardust. Now, Stardust I'm listening to on audio, and I'm almost done it. And it is a reread. So I will finish Stardust, and then I can close out my vlog and start a new one next week. But Tress is not going to be done. So next week I'm reading mermaid books. And I'm trying to remember. Well, I'm not reading all of them because there's a weird part of me that's like, I will someday do a readathon dedicated to mermaids, and I don't want to use up all the good mermaid books, which is like a weird way
There's more
because
mermaid
more
books
mermaid
written all
books
the
are
time.
always being
Yeah.
published. But I did have a couple that are on my list this year for like self-destruct. If I don't read them by the end of the year, then
Oh
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
to unhaul them. So I'm just trying to find my list here. I didn't make a video this month, a TBR video. Okay, so I have The Weight of Feathers, which is it's got mermaids in it. It's not about mermaids, but that's the is it Anne Marie Micklemore or
Oh
Anna
yeah.
Marie
I should
Micklemore?
Anna. I should know that. She's one
Anna?
of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so The Weight of Feathers, I own that one and it's on my self-destruct. Then also the Book of Speculation. I can't remember the author's name on that. They both have similar kind of conceits where like The Weight of Feathers is about these two people who I think fall in love, but they're from opposing circus families, and one family is like trapeze artists and one family is like
Yeah.
mermaid
Mm-hmm.
people, but the trapeze artists are like they pretend to be crows or something with a bird related thing, and so it's kind of like it sounds like a Romeo and Juliet kind of
Yeah,
retelling
it does
almost.
because
um
they are good about magical realism. Like that's what I turn to Anna Marie Micklemore for.
yeah,
I
so
don't
I'm
think
excited for
anybody
that one.
does magic realism like they do.
Yeah, so that one, and then the Book of Speculation is about a guy who is like a bookseller or like a rare book dealer or something, and either he inherits or somehow he gets this book that talks about this curse on this family, and it turns out like it's his family, and like all the women in his family have died on the same date, and they were traveling circus people who pretended to be mermaids. So like there's a
Oh,
mermaid
that's
connection,
oh, thanks.
but these are in both of these cases they're like
And
pretend
circus.
mermaids and
Yeah,
circus related. So
yeah,
but I
interesting.
like yeah, so both of those I want to read next week. And then I also have A Song Below Water
Oh
by
yeah.
Bethany C. Morrow, which I actually know
Mm-hmm.
nothing about other than the fact that I think it's YA, um, which is also on my shelf. So those are my 3 mermaid books for next week. And then I'll have to finish Tress. And then I'm also still trying to finish The First Bright Thing by J.R. Dawson, which is a
Which is
circus book,
circus
which,
too.
yeah, but I'm
It should
not
be a
enjoying
circus
it.
video. You're not?
I'm not.
I liked the
It's
premise of that one.
I know, but the problem is they sold me on the idea that it was going to be like the night circus. And the things that I love about the night circus are like that it's dark but whimsical, and that the whimsy is missing
Oh,
from
it's not
the
there.
Dawson book. It's not it's super dark and depressing, and like it takes place after World War One. Like the first scene in the book is actually in the trenches in World War One,
Oh
and
wow.
then like the book is like it's leading towards World War Two, and there's a lot of talk of like impending war and doom, and like the culture, like the whole idea is that there are these people who have abilities. They're called sparks, and so the circus is a group of these people who have these abilities because people with these abilities like aren't trusted by society, and they're like outcasts. um and so it's just like really depressing, and there has been
I
nothing
thought I
like
might like
nothing. Yeah, you might like it more than me. It just
yeah.
isn't really doing it for me right now, and like I think I'm probably about 20%,
I think
maybe
it's so like
16%.
comparing
Yeah.
just because something's a circus doesn't mean it's like the night circus. That's always like the
Yeah,
go-to.
yeah. Well, and in the
Yeah.
first like chapter, okay, and I guess maybe it wasn't the very first chapter that was in the trenches. I'm trying to remember now, because there was definitely right at the beginning when I first started reading it, and I was like, oh, the like lyricalness of the writing, the way that the writing makes me feel was very similar to the night circus. But it was like only for like a chapter.
Oh, and they lost it. I just have to laugh at this. She just got to this one I'm behind. So 10 minutes from now, she'll be like, and she didn't like that POV either. I'm guessing that's from
The Stardust Thief,
Stardust
when we were
Thief.
talking about, maybe?
And then
I don't know.
keep chatting. The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea would be a great option.
I have that on my
script.
TBR as well, but I'm saving it
Me
for my
too.
Mermaid Readathon, which I will do next year.
And you have, is it all the murmuring? What's that one called? I
Oh
remember
yeah,
you
all
mentioned
the
that.
yeah the one by A.G. Slatter.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Murmuring
That one.
Bones.
That's
I can't
it.
remember.
That's it.
And then
That's
I
it.
actually borrowed from my library some other ones that I was like thinking like, oh, maybe I'll pick up. What were they? All the Stars and Teeth, I think, is a mermaid book as well by Adeline Grace.
Adeline Grace. She wrote Belladonna.
And then Monstrous Heart. I was unclear if this was just like sea monsters or if there were actually mermaids by Claire McKenna, which was also on my TBR. So I borrowed those from my library, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. The reason I wanted to have some backups was because in the vlog, the pirate vlog, I was going to read The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi and not Fable and not Stardust Thief, but I did not like The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. I didn't get very far at all.
I mean, not to cheer, but I feel like sometimes I'm alone. I DNF'd it. How far did you get?
Like 20 pages.
You got. I think I got a little bit further than that, but not by much. It's the tone is kind of strange of it, and I think if you don't like the humor, it's not going to work. Like her sense of humor. I think for me, my favorite.
The big problem was I had it in physical and I had it on audio, and I was listening to it. I tried the audio, and within like 2 seconds, I was like, nope. Not interested. Like I did not, I don't know what it was. Like sometimes that just happens. It's like the audio for Uprooted. I tried the audio for Uprooted and there was just something and I was like, nope, not doing this. Like no, thank you. And it was just very much like that. So then I took the physical book with me to the beach last weekend because we went as a family. We went to the beach. It was beautiful weather. And like normally I'll sit and read a whole book. Like, that's something I love to do.
And in theory, that should be a good beach read because it's set by the water, on the water.
And so I sat and I kept putting it down. Like I literally, I think I definitely made it less than 50 pages. I don't remember exactly how many pages, but I was reading it and like my husband had my kid, so I wasn't having to do parenting. Like they were on like the sand playing and I wasn't having to do parenting duties. I literally was like sitting at our camp area that we had kind of set up with the picnic table and my camp chair, and I was comfortable. I had a nice cold drink. I had, like everything that you would have thought.
It was prime reading.
And it was prime reading, and I didn't read any of it.
Oh no.
So clearly something was not clicking. So when I got home, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to pick something else because I already also knew that I didn't have the audiobook for Tress, so I was going to have to read that one. I have it physical or ebook, and so I was like, I need another audiobook, and I just looked on my like Libby app and I was able to get Fable, and I enjoyed Fable. I'm kind of annoyed that the ending was such a cliffhanger and I have to wait now 6 weeks because there was a backlog at my library that I'm not going to be able to get the sequel. Like I'm on the hold wait list, but it was fine. Like not my like most favorite thing ever, but I know I'm not the like target demographic. Like it's definitely like more a young adult book. But
I find I'm often disappointed by pirate books and I don't know why. Like I haven't found one that I absolutely love.
Yeah, I mean, I think that pirate movies are better.
Yeah, I agree. Because you have to like see the character. It's like a whole vibe.
Yeah, and I think that like trying to write out some of the ridiculousness that is like how we conceptualize pirates just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like because pirates
typically I'm not like a quest journey person. So like if you're pirates, they're always on a quest, obviously. So
you might really enjoy Gunpowder and Cinnamon. It's not fantasy, it's just historical. It's historical fiction set in the early 1800s. It's about this cook, this chef. He works for a rich guy on like land, and the guy he works for is like one of the main partners in this trading company called, I think it's like Pendleton's or something, which I don't think is actually a historical company. I think they're basically making it out to kind of be like the East India Company or whatever, like a big,
Oh yeah.
powerful
Mhm.
company. And pirates show up in like the first chapter and kill the guy who he works for and kidnap him and take him on the ship.
Oh.
And then he has to cook for the captain, which is a woman pirate. Her name is Mad Hannah Mabbitt. And it was weird because halfway through the book it turns into like a Stockholm syndrome romance. I don't know if that's
Oh.
the word
Yeah,
for
I
it.
know what you
There's
mean though.
probably,
Like
I
a
don't read
like a
romance
Beauty and a
usually.
Beast, like a Beauty and the Beast type.
But like, because he's a captive on the ship, and like the whole
Yeah.
first half of the book, he's trying to get off the ship, which is actually pretty entertaining, if a little slow. Like, I found it was like very much like there was a lot of like daily life on the ship, and like a lot of description of him cooking, which like was fine, but it very like slice of life
Which I
almost.
like. Yeah.
But then like midway through the book, the plot kind of starts, and then you have this weird romance that happens between him and the captain, which to me made no sense. Like,
I'm kind of curious though.
it came out of nowhere in my opinion. But again, like, I'm not the only romance that I usually read. There's like two kinds of romance that I like. I like the like formulaic Regency romance novels that are like terrible when you actually stop to think about how like the women are being treated in those books. But
Yeah.
like, I enjoy reading them for what they are.
You love a
And I
bad
read,
boy, let's be honest.
yeah, exactly. I love a rake, you know.
Yeah,
Um, and I also love reading, and I've only discovered this since I joined BookTube. I love reading fantasy, like witchy romance books that are kind of like
yeah,
lighthearted,
yeah,
but where one of the main characters is a witch,
yeah.
which is like very
There's a lot
specific.
of
And I've
those.
only, yeah. So those are
They're
like the
fun.
kinds of romance that I read. And
Yeah.
I don't know what you would call that, where it's like a captive who becomes actually in
I'm
love with
sure
their
that's when
captor.
we need. This is when we need Hannah. She's got all the acronyms for every romance trope, and I'm like, what? What's that mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Kristen was behind,
a
and
fall,
100%
oh
a
yeah,
fall
fall
book.
book. Yes.
Yes. The
The
other
other
narrator
narrator.
for, because I listened to and read City of Brass, and it was a different narrator, and I loved it.
Oh, interesting. City of Brass is on
A
my list
Jenner.
to read this month.
It's
I
completely
need,
different.
yeah.
Completely
I
different. You wouldn't
the
even know it was the same
The other
author.
thing that I didn't really like in the first part of Amina, or the Adventures of Amina, was that like the way the world building was being done just felt really info dumpy. Like when
Yeah.
like the descriptions of like the fog on the water and stuff, and like I didn't like that at all.
There's some, I think, in the City of Brass, the first bit is a lot of setup, but not in the same way, I would say.
Yeah. Well, and I think
But
so. This is another thing that might be why pirate books, particularly like fantasy pirate books with female main characters, are kind of annoying, is that so far all the ones that I've read are very much where like the main character is a not like other girls kind of situation. Like Fable,
oh,
the
yeah.
so like not like other girls, very very much the point I feel of that
It's just,
character, which I find kind of annoying.
yes.
And like Amina El Sarafi really felt kind of like, oh, like, I'm not like, other women too. Like, it kept commenting about how tall she was. Like, I literally read like maybe 30 pages. And it's like all
You
the
know,
impression I have of this is like, oh, she's very tall and she carries a lot of weapons and she's very, very competent. But we don't, yeah, I don't know. It was very,
I think that's what people had problems with too. Like people that didn't like it, I've heard it's like, it's all telling how great she was, but this is after that. So like, you just have to take her word for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, there, like, it does start with that, like, her showing her skills with the like boys that have called up the demon or whatever, but
Yeah.
which is like
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
page
Yeah, yeah.
3 or whatever.
Yeah, that
Like,
happens. Yeah.
this is not spoilers. This is literally I read 30 pages. I can't spoil anything
You
about
can't
this
spoil it.
book.
No.
But like, yeah, like I just, yeah, I didn't buy it. It didn't I don't know, it didn't
Land.
click with me.
Yeah.
And I probably will try it again if I could get
That's
the
what I
ebook.
think too, but I just haven't had the urge, and I read that, tried to read it in February, like when it first came out.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like sometimes books are just not for everyone.
No.
But I am excited to start Fourth Wing. I think I was gonna do that the third week of June, was read my dragon books, because I even though it doesn't help for the readathon, I have dragon books on my TBR because I have to read them for other things, because we're doing the discussion on Fourth Wing, so I have to read that.
And it helps. 100 points for every book you read. Doesn't matter what it is.
True.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read Fourth Wing, and then I also need to read Fireborn and the other 2 books in that series. So I'm going to read Fireborn this month, because I'm part of the group of booktubers who are doing the Kristinellis with Kristinell SFF Reader. And so the short list is out. I don't know if she's posted it yet, so I'm not going to share the whole thing here because I don't want to steal her thunder. But basically, we're doing like the Hugos except booktube version. So like all the people that she recruited we did our initial votes, and so now we have the short list for novellas and novels, and I have to read. I actually had read most of the ones that were
so
chosen.
Curious. You're gonna have to tell me in private. I'm so curious.
I can tell you in private, but I don't want to steal Kristinell's thunder because I don't know.
When is? Yeah, I'll have to look for the video.
I do like. I actually, here's another video that I haven't finished editing that I need to finish editing, was me making my decisions of which ones I was going to nominate, which I need to finish the editing on that. But yeah, I have to read. So 1, 2, so 3 novels from the short list I hadn't read, and 2 novellas I hadn't read. But for the novel, like Fury Song was the one that was nominated. So I have to read it, so I can't just read it by itself.
No.
So I have to read the other 2 first. So, but I've been wanting to read Fireborn, and I figured
it'll be quick.
Yeah, since I'm doing this like vlog thing this month, I'm trying anyway. I'm finding it's a little bit easier to find like small snippets of time in my day right now to like vlog, as opposed to sitting down and filming like a full video, because I just have not had that time. Yeah.
But then you have to sit down and edit them. That's the thing.
I know, and it's harder to edit vlogs because you have all the little
it is,
all the little snippets.
I don't even know where the clips are. Like, where are the clips? Some on my phone, some on my thing. I have started so many vlogs and not finished them. It's ridiculous.
I know, and there's like a certain point where it's like, okay, I'm gonna post the vlog of my 5-star predictions from February, and I'm gonna have to like film a section at the beginning and be like, hey, yeah, so this is what happens when you don't edit your footage for 6 months. Enjoy.
You have to, because you've set that whole thing up.
I know, and like I've kind of avoided reading the other ones because I don't want to do like episodes 2 before I've even edited episode 1 of my 5-star predictions series. So, but I mean, it is what it is. I can't change it. So
no,
I haven't done it yet. So
and I don't know what you're gonna think of Fourth Wing. I feel like it can go either way.
Yeah, I think it'll depend on how I'm feeling when I start it too. Like, I'm kind of feeling a bit slumpy right now, to be honest.
It's a good one for that.
Yeah. So we'll see. I saw Kristen said in our group chat that it was like really readable, Fourth Wing. So, but I also I just realized it's not even on my list of things to read this month, but I still haven't read our book club pick that we're discussing on the 25th.
Me neither, but it's short.
It is. It's short. I think I have the audio, so I can listen to the audio in a couple of hours, and that's why I love audiobooks, because you can like you know exactly how much of a time commitment it is when you look at it. Like when I look at an audiobook and I'm like, okay, it's an 11-hour audiobook. For me, I always listen at least 2 times speed. And so like, okay, so 6.5 hours. No, I did that math wrong. 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours of my time. And I know that I can get at least an hour a day of audiobook listening done. So that's going to take me like a week to read. And if I can speed it up even more than 2 times speed, then it'll, like, usually when I get to the end of a book, I make it even faster because I'm like anxious to get to the end. Like I totally did that with cinnamon and gunpowder and cinnamon, whatever. I think it's cinnamon and gunpowder. I've been saying it backwards the whole time.
I feel like gunpowder and cinnamon makes more sense, but
I just glanced down. I have my list of things that on my iPad where I keep everything.
You're so organized.
Well, I have now that I have an iPad, because I only got my iPad in like January, and I have a reading journal on GoodNotes that has like my stuff. So I just make like every month I make I don't even know if you can see that. It's
yeah,
like sorry, I don't know where. It's my TBR list, and it
yeah.
has the books that I'm reading, and then like for this month I put like for my different vlog ideas, and
You have to
but then I
put
also
Redemption Indigo on there.
I know I have to add Redemption and Indigo, and then I also I didn't read The Adventures of Amina, so I will have to take that one off and replace it with Fable, because I haven't done. Mind you, sometimes I actually record, like if you look at like a month where it's like past, so I keep my star ratings on there. I don't know if you can
Oh
see
yeah,
that.
smart. Yep.
And like, so if I DNF something, I will put a DNF, so I'll have to add more columns for books if I actually read all of these things. But I also have to read The Archive Undying this month, because it is an e-arc that I was supposed to have done, but I'm so far behind on my e-arcs.
I've heard mixed things about that one, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, really? For The Archive Undying?
Yeah.
With the
Yeah,
like
it sounds good.
mecha and like AI?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of hope that it's like really complicated sci-fi, because I think I've discovered that that's like the more kind of sci-fi that I like more like militaristic or like space opera-y, but I
Yeah.
don't know, because like I read some Desperate Glory, and it
I
was
started that
not
one
my
and I didn't
favorite.
finish. I couldn't finish it. I forgot
It's
to
not
talk
my
about that in
favorite.
my DNFs. I could.
Oh yeah.
You thought you DNF'd Amina fast. My gosh.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Yeah, I
think
didn't
the
know
thing
I
is,
like Emily
so
Tesh.
I know, so do I. But
Yeah.
I like her writing style. I don't like her stories.
Mm,
So,
fair.
and like I read all of Some Desperate Glory because it was like it's in a vlog, and but I just like I do think that there's an audience for that book. I just don't think it's me. Like it's very, I don't know. It's like if what two books? If Ender's Game had a baby with Divergent. Let's actually put it that
Oh,
way.
interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because it's got the like weird training of young children to be warriors or like military, but then it also has the weird like society where everything is messed up, and like the character is realizing how messed up their society is. Like that's, if you DNF'd it really early, you didn't get to like all the existential
No, because
crises throughout the whole thing of like
I was just
realizing how
confused.
messed up the culture is.
Yeah, because like Fourth Wing is Divergent, just so you know. It's pretty much.
Oh, is it really? I actually liked Divergent like way back in the day. I mean,
Yeah, like
I
if you
read
like
Divergent
that
when it
setup.
came out.
Me too. Like if you like that training kids in the military and then you have different faction kind of things, that's what it is. Just with
Yeah.
dragons.
Yeah.
Kristen says the sequel to Fable's on script. Or it used to be.
I don't know if it's on my script. I haven't checked. That's a good point though, because
What's it called? I don't even know. I can picture the two covers with the faces that you put together.
I don't know what the next. It's like fate. Does it start with an F? Fated or something?
I don't know.
I don't know. Who wrote Fable? It's Adrian Young, right?
Adrian Young. Yeah. Popping back in now that I'm at work, I can start an audiobook, and the two that I need to read this month are Fourth Wing and Six of Crows. I think you go Fourth Wing because there's that thing on Discord, a buddy you read on Discord, and everybody's reading that right now. An audiobook novella.
I have the feeling that Fourth Wing is going to be one of those ones that like we all read now, and then like a year from now, if you read Fourth Wing, it's not going to hit the same.
Yeah, you have
Because
to
the
be
only
in the moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. But Fable is not on my Fable or the
No, it's
sequel are
not.
not on my script. The only Adrian Young book is like the one with the Viking. Sky in the Deep.
Oh, Sky in the Deep, yeah.
It's the only one that's on my script. But
I'm nervous for the sequel to Fourth Wing. We'll see. Because sometimes I like the first books because I feel smaller, and then once
is
you
it a
open it up,
cliffhanger? Does it have a
it's
cliffhanger?
not a sort of. It's like an interesting reveal. Yeah, it's like a cliffhanger.
Okay.
But we're getting it in November, I think. So it's not that far.
Oh, okay. Is it just a
it's one of those.
duology then, or?
I'm not sure. I think there might be more. I'm just waiting to see what the edges look like because I'm
Is it
game like that.
a debut? Who I don't know this. I don't know Rebecca Yaros or
I
Yaros.
think
I'm not
it's
sure how to pronounce it.
her first fantasy romance. I think she's written just like contemporary romance or something before.
Ah,
I
interesting.
think. Yeah.
Six of Crows.
But
I'm
she's
just coming
funny.
back to that comment
Yeah.
now. I need to read Six of Crows too.
You
That's a
haven't
book
read Six
that
of Crows? Wasn't my favorite.
no,
I know
but
people love
I
Six of
feel like
Crows.
it's got heist vibes, right? That's Six of
Yeah.
Crows.
Well, yeah. It's like the
So
epitome of a heist vibe.
yeah.
Like
No,
the one people always.
that's Lies of Loclamora is the one, the only.
But I feel like everybody's always, if there's a heist, it's always, they're just copying Six of Crows.
Well, except Lies of Loclamora came first, and actually, it's a con. I should say it's a con in Lies of Loclamora. The second book, Red Seas Under Red Skies, is the epitome of the heist for fantasy.
I'll take your word because I don't see
I
myself ever
I actually
that.
didn't think about that. I should have read Red Seas Under Red Skies because it has pirates. Why didn't I read that this week? I love that book.
There you go.
I need to get on though. I need to read my mermaid books because then I need to read my dragon books and then I'm finishing the month off with my Jin books.
I'm gonna say the Jin books. You're on Team Jin. What's happening here?
I know, but I'm saving them because I have City of Brass and I have a Master of Jin, and I'm actually a little behind on my plan, so I might end up starting them like mid next week and not reading Fireborn this month.
No, I want you to read Fireborn.
And saving Fireborn, but I'm worried. I don't know if I like. Are they good to read back to back? Like the Fireborn series, because like I need to read all three in a fairly short amount of time, and so I kind of wanted to space them out. I also feel like the Archive Undying is being shifted to next month because I'm just like I've kind of given up on my NetGalley. I have so many outstanding. Like I've made the videos, like I've talked about them in videos, and all I have to do is go into NetGalley and like write a quick like go check out this video for my thoughts and post it. But I haven't done that.
You always have ideas. That's what I like.
Yeah, I know.
I'm reading Station 11 as a buddy read. I'm 5%.
Oh, I need to read that one too.
Me too. Everybody loves that book.
Yeah.
Hope you're enjoying it. Her not reading more than 5% a day. Also reading Teacher of the Year, Romance with a Single Dad and Kindergarten Teacher. Recommend it to Kristen. I have to look that up. Have I heard of that? I have. I can picture the cover. Actually, it's a really cute cover.
Contemporary romance.
Blech. I'm gonna make you read a contemporary romance.
I read that Lovelight Farms last year, and it was fine.
Did you like it?
It was fine.
I didn't finish that one either.
I'm trying to think what other contemporary. Yeah, I don't usually read male romance. I love all the other queer stuff. It's the one that I just don't relate to, and I also feel really awkward when I read male romance written by women. Like that's like the Emily Tesh like duology there. The
Green
whatever
Hollow.
It's called. Green Hollow. Yeah. Which is male romance, and like it just doesn't come across as authentic because as a woman, what do you know about being about male romance? Like it's just so far out of your experience. Like how?
I read it all. So.
But give me all the other queer romance, please and thank you. And especially in my fantasy books, I love a good queer romance. There was
like we don't have a lot of queer romances that are more classic fantasy. I feel like it's always
I mean, I think it's getting more and more common for it to be just kind of like normalized in stuff. Like, well, and I mean, it's also Emily Tesh, but in Some Desperate Glory, there's a lot of queer rep in that, which is interesting.
It's like more hard fantasy.
And well, it's sci-fi, sci-fi.
Hard sci-fi,
And I'm trying to think of like what else I've read recently that is just like, well, that's why I get so mad when you read something like Babel that had queer baiting, and I'm like, are we still in a position where we're putting queer baiting in like mainstream books? Because the main character in Babel, for the first half of the book, I was so convinced we were going to get a male romance. And we didn't, and I was so mad.
I feel like a lot of books are just made better.
Well, I mean, when you just think about the fact that like the world is diverse, and when you read a book that isn't diverse, it's like even if it's a make-believe world, like why wouldn't your made up world be just as diverse as the real world?
Yeah. Or more, because it's make believe, so you can make it what you want.
Exactly. You can
You know
imagine
what I
it. If
mean?
you can't imagine diversity in an imaginary world, we have a real problem in the real world. That's really, I mean, and I think we do have a lot of real problems in the real world
We do. Yes, we do.
around those things. But
Especially now.
it is 4 o'clock, I'm noticing.
Yeah,
So I am gonna have to go.
I'll call it too.
I
3 o'clock, 3 hours right on the dot, so we're good.
Look at that. And we did lots of
Yeah.
chatting and not very much
Yeah,
sprinting. Though
I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that
I
was
did
gonna
read
happen.
some of my book, which was good. But this also,
I
like, I
think
was
I've
gonna
read
film
quite a
a
bit.
video today, but I didn't really want to film a video, so this took the place of filming
There
a
you
video
go.
today. So
On my
I'll
channel.
I'll link it. I'll link it on my news feed or whatever you call that,
There you
community
go. Yeah,
tab,
your community
and
tab.
people can come watch if they want a little dose of me today. Oh no, Kristen, you can watch it.
Oh,
Just go back in time. As soon as we're done,
no.
it'll appear on Kristen's channel.
Just know, like, the last 45 minutes was no sprinting, just chats.
Yeah, just chats. Yeah, which
Yeah,
is fine.
it's fun. That's what I like. This is what we always say we want to do more of, and then we never do.
I know. And honestly, it doesn't have to be that complicated. All I had to do, I took like
Just
20 minutes to rapidly
yeah.
clean my office so you couldn't like see all my piles of crap, and I strategically placed my camera so you couldn't
There
see
you go.
the garbage that's on the floor next to me. So
There we go. All right. Well, Sarah and I do have a live show talking about redemption in Indigo. It's the 25th.
25th. Yeah.
I'm guessing at 2 p.m. Eastern that's a Sunday. That's normally the time we do. So
Yeah.
it's a very short book. So and it's on script if you have script. So still plenty of time to read that. Neither of us have read it yet. And I think for Once Upon a Readathon, we have a few sprints this week. So look out for those. I will be in the Discord and all that. And we'll talk to you soon. And thanks for Sarah for joining me. So it wasn't just me sitting here by myself. I appreciate it.
Thanks for letting me.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.